Welcome to the Healthy Eating Video Log, 188 pages of transitional raw vegan menu ideas, serving suggestions, and recipes. Hi everyone, this is Alea, and this is another episode of Healthy Eating. And I want to clarify something because I got a couple of notes from people after the last posting where I posted about the GMO and the chemtrails and all of that, and people were kind of giving me a little flack about, we really need to do organic. And I agree, we really do need to do organic. But if we are going to play the all or nothing game where, I can't afford organic, so I may as well continue eating McDonald's, that's the reason that I said that, it's better to eat non-organic fruits and vegetables than it is to eat the other, meats and all of that. That being said, I do want to address something else. Somebody sent me a note today, and I think it's a really valuable one. It's kind of interesting. I hadn't really thought about it, but it's something that I have been doing. So I'm going to cover it in videos here so that you guys will see it in case you don't see it otherwise, and so that it'll be put together forever in the YouTube Chronicles. And that is, there are some home remedies that will help to restore your health if you have been exposed to GMO foods and chemtrails and all of that. And let's face it, if you're living in the United States of America, chances are you have eaten GMO foods. Some things that we don't even have any idea are GMO, they are. And a lot of things are GE, they're genetically engineered, even though we don't know it. If you notice, tomatoes lately, the skin has been real chewy. Well, that's not the way tomatoes' skin is supposed to be, but it's been genetically engineered in order for it to ship better, and so that the skins don't tear during shipping. Same thing with the seedless watermelons. Watermelons are not meant to be seedless, so if you're eating seedless watermelons, they are genetically engineered watermelons. So, before you think you're pure as driven snow, just know. Also, any corn products other than popcorn, which is very interesting. They have not figured out a way to genetically engineer popcorn. So popcorn is not genetically engineered. Everything else that's corn, whether, even the corn that says it's organic, it is organic. They're not using pesticides to grow it, but the corn itself has been engineered. So it's a slippery slope. But I do want to tell you about some of these home remedies. And this might end up being 2 videos because I don't want it to be too long. So the first thing I'm going to say is, if your immune system is strong, then it is better able to counteract anything that comes in. And some of the things that will strengthen your immune system is echinacea, of course, astragalus, of course, vitamin C, of course, vitamin D3, of course. Now, D3 we only get from sunshine. That's where that vitamin comes from. And of course, here in the U.S., with all the cancer scares and whatnot, we've been encouraged to stay out of the sun or to put sunscreen on and wear sunglasses and all of this in order to fight against the probability of getting cancer from sun exposure. And that is valid. If you are eating a standard American diet, the SAD diet as it's called, your immunity and your immunity to sun exposure and your body's ability to change sunlight into vitamin D has been compromised. And so yes, you need to take D supplements, and you also need to stay out of the sun because your body doesn't have what it takes in order to transmute that and turn it into the vitamin that it can use. But the more greens you eat, the more fruits and vegetables you eat, the more equipped your body will become to be able to transmute vitamin D from sunlight. And think about it this way, this is kind of a logical way of looking at it. Plants don't put on sunscreen. Okay, they sit out in the sun all day. They don't get cancer. You know, they're perfectly healthy out there. The sun doesn't hurt them. They don't even go in the shade. You know, you can't compare it to an animal because animals go in the shade, but plants sit in the sun all day. Their bodies do just fine in the sun, and they're much more fragile than we are. So there must be something to this plant photosynthesis thing, and part of it is that they are able to turn sunlight into energy. And we are designed to do the same thing, provided our bodies are functioning properly. So it's another reason to increase your greens. The other thing to look at is to alkalinize your system. And there's all these machines out there that you can buy and drink the water from them, and that alkalinizes your system. Of course, the more leafy greens that you eat, that's going to alkalinize your system. Quinoa will do that. If you get on a plant-based diet, more than likely most of the foods that you're consuming are going to be alkaline. If you want to do a quick boost, a really quick boost to alkalinize and to get more alkalinity into your system, and you don't have very much money, which is where some people are, try adding baking soda to your water. Adding baking soda to your water will alkalinize the water, and it will cause, it gives it a kind of a salty sweet taste. If you've ever drank straight water from a spring, you know, where the water just bubbles up out of the earth and you drink that, if you've ever tasted that, that's what alkaline water tastes like. And or at least it was where I grew up. And if you put baking soda in your water, it will taste like that, and it will alkalinize your system very quickly. Where I grew up, we had a spring, and that was part of the treatment of the spring was, you know, we cleaned it all out and got all the moss off the rocks and whatnot, and then we put baking soda in it. They called it, the old people called it sweetening the water, and it actually does have a kind of sweet, salty taste, but that will alkalinize your body very, very quickly. You can drink water with lemon juice in it, and that will alkalinize your body. Now, the other thing to look at, and which I'm going to cover in the other segment, because as I said, I don't want this to go too long, is nutritional support. Get as much leafy greens in your body as possible in whatever way you can get them in there. I find that the easiest way to get them in there is through juices. And if you put lemon with your green juice, then the lemon is going to cut that really bitter taste of the greens. However, the bitter taste is good for you, so if you can handle it, go ahead and have the bitter taste. But if you can't handle it, then just put a little lemon in there, a whole lemon actually. My green juice, if you go back and listen to some of my earlier videos, you'll see that I put a whole lemon in. But I also put in almost 1/4 pound of kale a day. And that makes a huge difference in making your body alkaline. At one time, my body was so acid until my eyes literally looked like they were bleeding because there was so much acid in my system. I was eating a lot of acid-forming foods, thinking that I was being healthy because that's what the doctor said do. So, and at that time I was barely able to move because my joints hurt so bad and my stomach was distended and blah, blah, blah. That was 3 years ago. The raw food diet, raw food lifestyle has made a huge difference in my life. Thank you, Dan McDonald, for introducing me to the raw lifestyle. So I hope that this will be helpful to you, to give you some idea of what you can do in order to get your body back in balance if you have been consuming GMO foods and if you've been exposed to chemtrails and whatnot, which most of us who live in the United States in particular have run into. And personally, I think that GMO is more insidious than the pesticides. You know, all of it is bad, and we want to get as close to natural foods for our bodies as possible. But, you know, as I said, I really, if you're going to list a table of positives and negatives, then the meat is the worst, and then GMO, and so if we can get organic, it's better. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe to these videos, and I will talk to you on the next video. Until next time.